The signal. Dr. Olivia Grant stared at her computer screen, fighting to keep her eyes open after 16 hours at the SETI observatory. The midnight shift was always quiet, but tonight felt different. The radio telescope had been scanning the same sector for weeks without results. She reached for her coffee, only to freeze mid-motion when the monitoring system erupted with a series of tones. "That's not normal," she whispered to herself. The pattern repeated, mathematical, precise, and unmistakably artificial. Her heart raced as she ran preliminary analysis. The signal originated from a star system 42 light-years away. No natural phenomenon could explain the complex sequence pulsing across her screen. Olivia's fingers trembled as she dialed her supervisor's number. "Dr. Wilson, I need you to come see this immediately." Within hours, the observatory hummed with activity. Scientists crowded around monitors while government vehicles arrived one after another. Security personnel established a perimeter, and communications to the outside world were temporarily suspended. Daniel Frost, a tall man in a crisp suit, stepped into the control room. His Department of Defense credentials opened all doors without question. "Show me what you found," he said, his expression carefully neutral. Olivia pointed to the visualization of the signal. "It repeats every 127 seconds. The mathematical sequence shows prime numbers, followed by what appears to be information encoding." "Sir, this is not random noise." Daniel nodded slowly. "And you're certain it's not from Earth? Not some satellite or classified transmission?" "Absolutely certain. We've triangulated the source. It's coming from the HD 85512 system." The room fell silent as implications settled over everyone present. Humanity had searched the stars for evidence of intelligent life for generations. Now that evidence was streaming into their computers, impossible to ignore. A team of cryptographers arrived by sunrise. They worked alongside linguists and mathematicians to make sense of the alien transmission. The signal contained layers of information, mathematical constants followed by more complex data structures. By the third day, they made their first breakthrough. "It's a language primer," announced Dr. Alan Kelly, the team's lead linguist. "They're teaching us how to understand them, starting with universal mathematical concepts and building toward more complex communication." 2 weeks later, they understood enough to grasp the fundamental message: help. The signal described a civilization calling itself Vexeran, facing extinction as their star entered the final stages before collapse. Their technology had detected Earth's radio emissions decades ago, and they had gambled everything on a desperate plea across the stars. "They're dying," Olivia explained to Daniel during a private briefing. "Their message contains detailed scientific information about their civilization, their biology, and technology specifications that could help us reach them." "Why would they think we could help?" Daniel asked. "We've barely left our own solar system." Olivia's eyes shined with excitement. "Because they detected our transmissions and determined we're advancing rapidly. They've included blueprints for technology beyond our current capabilities, but within our theoretical understanding. They believe we can adapt it quickly enough to reach them." The United Nations Security Council called an emergency session. World leaders debated humanity's response, while scientists worked around the clock to understand the increasingly detailed transmissions. "We need to decide," Daniel told the assembled officials. "They calculated their star has less than 2 years before catastrophic collapse. If Earth decides to help, we need to begin immediately." As nations argued, Olivia and her team continued decoding. The Vexerans had sent everything they could: their history, their knowledge, their hopes. They had placed their survival in the hands of a species they had never met, across a distance that had once seemed insurmountable. Earth faced its greatest decision: turn away and let an entire civilization perish, or attempt the impossible and reach across the stars to save them. Dr. Alan Kelly hadn't slept more than 4 hours at a stretch since the signal arrived. His office walls were covered with printouts of alien symbols and their possible meanings. 20 linguists from around the world worked under his direction, each bringing unique perspectives to the translation effort. The structure is remarkable, Alan told his team during their morning briefing. They've built a language bridge for us, starting with universal concepts and progressing to more complex ideas. The breakthrough came when they realized the Vexaran language used patterns similar to mathematical fractals. Once they understood this framework, translation accelerated rapidly. Dr. Olivia Grant joined their efforts, her astronomy expertise proving valuable as they decoded descriptions of the Vexaran home system. The aliens called their planet Vexara, the third world orbiting a yellow star not unlike Earth's sun. Their star is dying, Olivia explained to the Joint Scientific Committee. It's entering a phase of instability that will lead to collapse. The Vexarans detected the changes decades ago and have been searching for solutions ever since. The decoded messages revealed a civilization technologically more advanced than humanity in some ways, yet lacking in others. Their energy manipulation and materials science surpassed Earth's capabilities, but they had never developed effective space travel beyond their own system. They're sending us everything, Alan said, wonder in his voice. Their entire knowledge base, their history, their technology. It's like they're giving us their civilization's backup drive. Kate Miller, a NASA aerospace engineer, spent days studying the technical sections of the transmission. She rarely left her workstation, surrounded by simulations and calculations. These propulsion concepts could work, she announced to a room of skeptical colleagues. The physics are sound. With these blueprints, we might be able to build a ship that could reach them in time. Government officials around the world received increasingly urgent briefings. The Vexarans had less than 2 years before their star's instability would cause radiation levels to rise beyond survivable limits. Without external help, their entire species would perish. In Moscow, Beijing, Washington, and other capitals, leaders debated the implications. Some nations saw opportunity in the alien technology. Others feared deception or contamination. Religious leaders offered varied interpretations, while public opinion divided along predictable lines. We need to help them, Olivia argued passionately at a United Nations special session. They're intelligent beings asking for our help. How can we turn away? Others weren't convinced. This could be a trap, warned Security Advisor Richard Bennett. We have no way to verify their claims. For all we know, they could be hostile invaders using our compassion against us. The debate grew heated until NASA Director John Porter stood to address the assembly. Throughout human history, we've defined ourselves by how we treat those in need. These beings have trusted us with their lives. They've shared knowledge that could advance our civilization by centuries. The least we can do is try to save them. Private sector leaders stepped forward. Tech billionaire Gregory Walsh pledged his company's resources. My engineers believe we can adapt this alien technology to build an interstellar vessel within 12 months. But we need international cooperation and funding. For weeks, humanity argued while scientists continued translating. The final sections of the Vexaran message included detailed biological information about their species, oxygen-breathing humanoids with copper-based blood, and enhanced visual perception. They're not so different from us, Dr. Samantha Wright noted while studying their medical data. Different biochemistry, but similar enough that we could potentially accommodate them. The tide of global opinion shifted when the translation team decoded personal messages from Vexaran families. Parents hoping their children might survive, scientists offering their life's work, artists sharing their planet's cultural heritage. In a historic vote, Earth's nations approved Operation Lifeline, humanity's first interstellar rescue mission. They had 10 months to build a ship that could travel faster than any human vessel in history. The United Nations General Assembly fell silent as Secretary General Amara Okafor stepped to the podium. Representatives from every nation on Earth waited for her words, knowing this moment would define humanity's place in the universe. We face a choice unlike any in human history, she began. A civilization 42 light-years away has asked for our help. Their star is dying. Their people will perish without intervention. The question before us is simple but profound. Will Earth answer their call? The debate that followed was anything but simple. For 5 days, world leaders argued about the wisdom of attempting such an unprecedented mission. Russian Ambassador Petrov voiced concerns shared by many. How can we trust these aliens? This could be a trick to obtain our technology or learn our weaknesses. We must protect Earth first. Others saw opportunity in the crisis. The Vexorans have shared technological concepts that could revolutionize our society, countered the Japanese representative. Their knowledge could help solve our own environmental problems. Religious leaders offered varied perspectives. Some saw divine purpose in the timing of the message, while others warned of interfering with cosmic order. Public opinion polls showed global citizens evenly divided. During a closed session, military officials presented risk assessments. If we send a ship, we reveal our technological capabilities and our location to unknown entities, warned General Martinez. This poses potential strategic risks. Kate Miller's presentation changed the tone of the debate. The aerospace engineer had spent weeks analyzing the Vexoran propulsion designs. Using their specifications, we can build an interstellar vessel capable of reaching their system within 18 months, she explained, displaying simulation models. This isn't science fiction anymore, it's engineering. NASA Director John Porter stood beside her. This mission is ambitious but achievable, he insisted. If we commit to this project immediately, we can launch within 10 months. Behind the scenes, nations jockeyed for position. Everyone wanted their scientists, their astronauts, their technology included in the historic mission. The costs would be astronomical, requiring unprecedented international cooperation. Gregory Walsh's intervention proved decisive. The tech billionaire entered the UN building surrounded by cameras and reporters. My company will contribute $20 billion to Operation Lifeline, he announced. This is humanity's moment to prove we're worthy of the stars. I challenge other private companies to match our commitment. Within days, a consortium of corporations pledged additional funding. Public opinion shifted as the rescue mission captured global imagination. Children sent drawings of spaceships to NASA. Universities offered research resources. Retired engineers volunteered their expertise. The vote came on day 7 of the special session. Each nation's decision appeared on the large display board in the General Assembly Hall. As the final votes were tallied, the result was clear. Earth would attempt to save the Vexorans. The resolution established an international space coalition with unprecedented authority to requisition resources and override regulatory hurdles. Construction would begin immediately on the vessel, tentatively named Horizon. This project will require the best minds from every nation, Secretary General Okafor announced. We must set aside our differences and work together as citizens of Earth. That evening, Commander Nicole Summers received a call at her home in Colorado. The veteran astronaut had led 3 International Space Station missions and was known for her calm under pressure. Commander, said John Porter, I'm offering you command of the Horizon mission. You'll select your crew from an international pool of candidates. This will be dangerous, with no guarantee of success or return. Nicole took only a moment to decide. When do I start? Construction sites sprang up around the world. In Kazakhstan, engineers began building propulsion components. Japanese factories produced specialized materials. Brazilian scientists developed life support systems. The pieces would be assembled in Earth orbit, creating a vessel unlike anything humanity had built before. As work began, a simple message was transmitted toward the Vexoran star system. We're coming. Hold on. The orbital construction site above Earth buzzed with activity as workers in spacesuits moved between modules of the growing vessel. Supply rockets arrived daily, bringing components manufactured across the planet. What normally would have taken decades was being accomplished in months. Commander Nicole Summers floated through the central corridor of the half-built Horizon, noting progress and challenges. Her experienced eye caught details others might miss: a misaligned panel, a cable routing that could cause problems later. How's the propulsion system coming? She asked Chief Engineer Patrick Liu, who was calibrating equipment in the engine section. Patrick looked up from his work. The Vexaran designs are incredible. We're basically building technology that's a century ahead of our current capabilities. It's like teaching medieval blacksmiths to build a jet engine. Despite the challenges, the engineering team had adapted the alien specifications to work with Earth materials. The heart of the system was a reaction chamber that created controlled quantum fluctuations, allowing the ship to fold space in ways theoretical physicists had only dreamed about. "Will it get us there in time?" Nicole asked. Patrick nodded. "If it works as designed, we'll reach the Vexaran system in 17 months. That gives us just enough time before their star destabilizes completely." On Earth, Dr. Samantha Wright led the medical team preparing for potential alien contact. Her laboratory contained simulated environments based on Vexaran biological data. Their atmospheric needs are similar to ours, but with higher oxygen content, she explained to her staff. "They can tolerate our atmosphere for short periods, but for long-term survival, we'll need specialized habitats." The crew selection process was intense. Over 10,000 qualified applicants volunteered for the mission, knowing they might never return. Nicole interviewed hundreds personally, looking not just for technical skills, but for psychological resilience and adaptability. "I need people who can think creatively when systems fail," she told the selection committee. "Because things will go wrong. They always do in space." Her final crew included 20 specialists, engineers, scientists, linguists, and medical personnel. Each was the best in their field, and each understood the historical importance and danger of their mission. Navigator Eric Daniels joined after years piloting experimental aircraft. "No one's ever flown anything like this," he said during training. "We're writing the manual as we go." Communications specialist Maya Johnson developed protocols for maintaining contact with Earth, despite increasing light delay. "By the time we reach Vexura, it will take 42 days for a message to travel each way," she explained. "We'll be effectively on our own." Gregory Walsh visited the construction site monthly, his company having developed key components. "Are we on schedule?" he asked during a tour with Nicole. "Barely," she admitted. "We've had to solve problems no one anticipated. The Vexaran designs assume materials and manufacturing techniques we're still learning. The most significant challenge came when testing the propulsion system's core. During the first power-up sequence, unexpected resonance patterns caused structural damage to the test chamber. Patrick and his team worked for 3 days straight, modifying the designs. The Vexarans evolved in slightly higher gravity, he realized. Their understanding of quantum mechanics reflects that difference. We need to recalibrate everything. The solution required rebuilding key components, delaying the project by precious weeks. Nicole pushed her team harder, knowing every day lost reduced the chance of reaching Vexura in time. Public interest in the mission remained intense. Schools held special lessons about space travel and the Vexaran civilization. Artists created works imagining first contact. Religious leaders debated the theological implications of alien life. As launch date approached, Nicole led her crew through final simulations. They practiced emergency procedures, alien communication protocols, and rescue operations. "We don't know exactly what we'll find when we reach Vexura," she told them during their final briefing on Earth. "But we know they're counting on us. Humanity has never attempted anything this ambitious, and we may never get a second chance. Our mission isn't just to save them. It's to show what humans can accomplish when we work together." 10 months after receiving the alien signal, the horizon was complete. The sleek vessel hung in Earth orbit, its systems powered up and ready for humanity's first interstellar journey. The Horizon's engines glowed blue against the blackness of space as it pulled away from Earth orbit. Billions watched the live stream as humanity's first interstellar vessel began its journey toward the stars. Commander Nicole Summers felt the gentle vibration through her command chair as the revolutionary propulsion system engaged. "All systems nominal," reported Navigator Eric Daniels from his station. "First spacefold will commence in 30 minutes." The crew of 20 remained at their stations during initial acceleration. Earth grew smaller on their view screens until it was just a pale blue dot among countless stars. For many, the reality of leaving their home planet behind was just beginning to sink in. "Preparing for first spacefold," announced Patrick Liu from engineering. Everyone braced for transition. Nicole checked that all crew were secured. The Vexaren technology had been tested extensively, but this would be its first true deployment. No one knew exactly how it would feel. Initiating fold in 3, 2, 1. The stars outside seemed to stretch like rubber bands, then snapped into new positions. Several crew members gasped. The transition lasted only seconds, but the horizon had covered a distance that would have taken conventional spacecraft years. "Position confirmed," Eric said after checking his instruments. "We're beyond Neptune's orbit." The fold executed perfectly. The ship's AI system, ARIA, provided continuous monitoring of all systems. "Propulsion cooling cycle initiated," its calm voice announced. "Next fold available in 6 hours." With the first critical test successful, Nicole implemented their long-term journey protocol. "All crew prepare for suspended animation sequence. ARIA will maintain ship functions and wake us at designated intervals." The medical team, led by Dr. Samantha Wright, had developed specialized pods that would drastically slow metabolic processes during the long journey. This would conserve resources and protect human bodies from the effects of extended space travel. "You'll feel cold at first," Samantha explained as crew members entered their pods. "Then drowsy. When you wake, it will feel like only a day has passed." Nicole was the last to enter suspended animation, after confirming all systems were functioning correctly. ARIA, Implement Journey Protocol Alpha. Wake primary team at first checkpoint. Confirmed, Commander. Safe travels. The Horizon continued its journey through the void, executing spacefolds at calculated intervals. Inside, the crew slept while ARIA maintained watch. Earth's transmissions reached them with increasing delay as the light years stretched between them and home. 3 months into the journey, ARIA detected an anomaly. Alert: radiation levels exceeding safety parameters. The AI initiated emergency protocols, waking Chief Engineer Patrick and Commander Nicole from suspended animation. They emerged groggy but quickly focused on the crisis. "We're passing through an uncharted radiation cloud," Patrick said, studying the readings. "The shielding is holding, but barely." Nicole assessed their options. "Can we change course?" "Not without significant delay. We'd miss our arrival window." They made the difficult decision to repair the radiation shielding while maintaining course. This required spacewalks in conditions far more dangerous than any human had attempted before. Patrick led the repair team, working in shifts as the radiation slowly damaged their suits. "We've got to replace the forward shield array," he told his team. "Work fast and minimize exposure." The repairs took 3 days of grueling work. 2 engineers suffered radiation sickness and returned to suspended animation to recover. Patrick himself collapsed after the final connection was secured. As the Horizon continued its journey, other challenges emerged. A near miss with an uncharted asteroid field required Navigator Eric to be awakened to recalculate their trajectory. Communications specialist Maya Johnson spent weeks awake, maintaining the increasingly tenuous link with Earth. "The signal delay is now 33 days, she reported to Nicole. "We're effectively on our own from this point." The crew marked holidays and birthdays during their brief periods of wakefulness. They recorded messages for families they might never see again. Some found comfort in the mission's purpose, others in the camaraderie they shared. When ARIA woke the full crew for their final approach to the Vexaren system, 17 months had passed. Earth was just a distant star behind them. Ahead lay the culmination of humanity's greatest journey, and the unknown fate of an alien civilization counting on their arrival. The Horizon emerged from its final space fold into the Vexaren star system. Through the viewports, the crew saw a yellow sun similar to Earth's, but instruments detected the instability patterns the aliens had described. Violent solar flares erupted across its surface, sending deadly radiation toward the inner planets. Vexera detected, announced navigator Eric Daniels. Third planet from the star, just as their transmissions indicated. On the main screen, a blue-green world appeared, slightly larger than Earth. Even from a distance, they could see massive atmospheric disturbances caused by the star's instability. Life signs, asked Commander Nicole Summers. Dr. Ben Howard, the mission's xenobiologist, studied his readings. Confirmed. Large population centers on the northern continent. But radiation levels are already beyond what they described in their messages. The star's deterioration has accelerated. Nicole called a strategy meeting as the Horizon established orbit around Vexera. We have less time than we expected. According to these readings, the Vexerans have maybe 2 months before radiation reaches lethal levels planet-wide. The first contact team prepared for descent in the shuttle. Dr. Howard led the group, along with cultural liaison Sofia Garcia and security officer Keith Dias. They wore special suits designed to protect them from radiation, while accommodating the higher oxygen content of the Vexeran atmosphere. Remember the communication protocols, Sophia reminded the team. Their language structure is different from ours. Use the translation devices and simple gestures. The shuttle descended through turbulent clouds, buffeted by winds stronger than any hurricane on Earth. Below, they saw a city of curved structures built from materials that shimmered with an internal light. They've designated a landing area, Keith reported, pointing to flashing lights in a circular pattern. As the shuttle touched down, hundreds of Vexerans gathered around the perimeter. They stood on 2 legs like humans, but their bodies were taller and more slender, with skin that shifted colors like living opals. Their eyes were large and multifaceted, adapted for the different light spectrum of their world. The humans emerged cautiously. Dr. Howard activated the translation device and spoke the greeting they had practiced. "We received your message. We have come to help." A Vexeran stepped forward, skin pulsing with blue patterns that the translation software identified as expressions of intense emotion. It spoke in a melodic language that the device translated after a brief delay. "You crossed the void between stars for strangers. Our gratitude cannot be measured." The Vexeran leader, who called itself Thelon, brought the humans to a council chamber. There, the situation became clear. The Vexerans had already evacuated millions to underground shelters, but these would fail within months as radiation penetrated deeper into the planet's crust. "We sent our message with little hope," Thelon explained. "That you answered is beyond what we dared imagine." The Vexeran scientists shared their evacuation plans. They had built stasis chambers for their people, but lacked a vessel capable of interstellar travel. Their hope was that the Horizon could transport as many as possible to Earth. "Your ship cannot hold all who remain," Thelon said, its skin darkening. "We have 9 million still alive. Most will stay behind." Nicole and her team faced an impossible decision. The Horizon could accommodate perhaps 5,000 Vexerans in emergency conditions. They would have to choose who to save. "We can make multiple trips," suggested Patrick, though everyone knew the star's deterioration made this impossible. As the humans grappled with this reality, the Vexerans revealed technology they had developed in desperation. Quantum storage systems that could digitize and store consciousness itself. "We can save our people's minds, if not their bodies," explained a Vexeran scientist. "But we need a safe place to house the storage system." Meanwhile, Sophia worked to bridge cultural gaps between humans and Vexerans. She discovered their society valued collective knowledge above individual survival. Their art, music, and science were unlike anything humans had created, offering perspectives shaped by a different evolutionary path. "They see patterns we miss," she reported. "Their understanding of quantum mechanics might solve problems we haven't even recognized yet." As solar flares increased in frequency, the humans and Vexerans worked against time to save what they could of a dying civilization. The countdown to evacuation had begun, with both species knowing that whatever happened, the universe would never be the same. The Horizon's engine strained as it broke free of Vexura's gravity, its hull modified to carry far more passengers than originally designed. Commander Nickel Summers watched the dying planet recede on the view screen, knowing they had done all they could, and that it wasn't enough. "Population count?" she asked softly. Maya Johnson checked her console. 3,427 Vexuran refugees aboard, plus the quantum storage containing the digitized consciousness of another 2 million. The small device, no larger than a microwave oven, hummed quietly in a specially shielded compartment. Inside it existed the minds, memories, and knowledge of an ancient civilization, preserved in quantum states that the Vexurans had perfected in their final years. Life support status. Nickel asked Patrick Liu. "Stretched beyond specifications, but holding," he replied. "The Vexurans require less food than we anticipated, but more water and oxygen. We've adjusted environmental systems accordingly." Through the ship's rear cameras, they watched as the Vexuran sun emitted another massive flare. The radiation wave would reach the planet within hours, making the surface uninhabitable. 6 million Vexurans remained behind, their fate sealed. Thelon, the Vexuran leader, stood beside Nickel on the bridge. Its skin rippled with complex patterns expressing grief and gratitude. "Those who remain knew their fate," Thelon said through the translator. "They chose to stay so others might live. We will honor their sacrifice by preserving what they were." The journey home began with a series of carefully calculated spacefolds. Each transition placed enormous strain on the ship's systems, now supporting 5 times its designed capacity. The crew worked in shifts with minimal rest, maintaining critical functions and caring for their alien passengers. Dr. Samantha Wright faced the greatest challenges. "Their physiology responds differently to our medications," she reported during a staff meeting. "We're learning through trial and error, with their scientists' help." The Vexurans proved to be resilient travelers. They required less food than humans, entering a meditative state that reduced their metabolic needs during critical periods. Many offered their expertise to help maintain the ship's systems, their knowledge of quantum mechanics proving invaluable when the propulsion system developed fluctuations. On the 40th day of their return journey, the sensors detected the final death of the Vexuran sun. From a safe distance, humans and Vexurans watched as the star collapsed in a brilliant flash before fading to a dim remnant. "Everything we knew is gone," said a young Vexuran, its skin pale with mourning. Sofia Garcia, who had learned more of the aliens' complex language patterns, offered comfort. "Your world lives in you, and in what you carry. Earth will be your new home." Back on Earth, preparations accelerated as updates from the Horizon arrived. Nations debated where the refugees would settle and how their technologies would be shared. Some feared the aliens, while others saw opportunity in their arrival. Gregory Walsh led the construction of a settlement in New Zealand, designed with input from Vexuran specifications transmitted from the ship. Scientists built quantum receivers to house the digitized consciousnesses upon arrival. "This is humanity's greatest moment," the Secretary General told the United Nations. "How we welcome these refugees will define our species for generations." After 11 months of travel, the Horizon entered Earth's solar system. The crew, exhausted but triumphant, prepared their passengers for arrival. Many Vexurans spent hours at viewports, watching as the blue planet grew larger. "It looks similar to our home before the changes began," Thelon observed. When the ship established Earth orbit, cheers erupted in control centers worldwide. The first shuttle descended carrying Vexuran representatives to meet Earth's leaders. Cameras broadcast the historic moment globally as alien feet touched Earth's soil for the first time. "We bring knowledge and friendship," Thelon announced to the assembled dignitaries. "Your kindness saved us from extinction. The debt can never be repaid, but we offer partnership in the journey ahead." In the months that followed, Vexuran knowledge transformed human technology. Their understanding of quantum physics led to energy breakthroughs. Their medical techniques extended human lifespans. The digitized consciousnesses were successfully transferred to new systems, creating an unprecedented library of alien wisdom. Nicholas Summers, awarded humanity's highest honors, often visited the Vexaran settlement. Walking among the curved buildings reminiscent of their lost world, she would remember the moment humanity chose to answer a desperate call from the stars.